It is week 5 waiver wire, and once again, we got ourselves a catch. Unless you were here last week, you might already have this man, Woody Marks. Yeah. No disagreement from me. No disagreement from many people. Andrew Erickson, who is your number 1? He's got Woody Marks as 2. And his number 1 isn't even on the list. Oh, there we go. Rashad White. Okay. I see where he's coming from. Interesting. I don't know that that's right. Okay, so somebody does disagree. Somebody does not agree that Woody Marks is the clear-cut number 1 option on the waiver wire. But I would say, yeah, probably would make him the number 1 option on the waiver wire. I grabbed him up in the league that I have Nick Chubb. Other league, I didn't grab him because I already have like 7 running backs there. I just have no receivers that know how to score fantasy points in that league. So I'm going to quick go through each position, some of the primary thoughts on them, and then get into any questions. Kind of a hard out today for aiming for like in an hour or even less, but I had a doctor appointment today a ways away. So I missed a bunch of time on a day where I normally record all my videos and get like 2 of them edited, at least. All my positional ranking videos. Wasn't able to do that today. So for the quarterback waiver wire options this week, obviously, tried telling you Jackson Dart last week, right? Or when did we learn about that? I think we knew about that for waiver wire time. The rushing upside for Jackson Dart's great. He had, I think, 6 designated rushes last week, and then another 3 or 4 scrambles, somewhere along those numbers. And rushing, it's huge. He's a product that is still being worked on. He's not a stud of a quarterback, but fantasy-wise, should be pretty solid. Tua's got a good matchup this week. I think Bryce does too. I don't remember about these guys. Check out my quarterback rankings for these guys. Or ask a question. If you really have a question, then I'll pull up the quarterback rankings. They're not quite finished. I think I'm going to move Jackson Dart up a little higher. Oh, yeah, Sam Darnold, Tampa Bay. I like that one. So, you see. Still working on those. Running backs, as we said, Woody Marks is the man. Looks like we do have a quarterback question. So I will get to you, Andrew, in just a moment. I just want to run through these so that way I can just tell people to go to the beginning of the video. So Woody Marks is the man this week. Ollie Gordon, Blake Corum, nothing's changed with these guys. Ty J. Spears, if you're not aware, is going to be coming back sooner than later. I don't know how much you really want a shared running back in the Tennessee Titans backfield, but should probably be owned somewhere. Same with Kendra Miller. No real disagreements here. Ken Gainwell should probably be owned. I don't think we know how long the injury is, so I would probably have Ken Gainwell as like the number 2 waiver wire option. Not for long-term purposes, but if you need immediate help, potentially, he would be a guy that can do that. Obviously Chris Rodriguez also. And same with Rashad White. If he is available in your league for some reason, he shouldn't be, but if he is, or Kareem Hunt's another guy, Kareem Hunt, not very much upside. That's a deep league. You need somebody to help you. But he might be better than Pacheco. Rashad White, I do agree with Andrew Erickson in the sense that, I think I would probably have Rashad White number 3. Somebody they don't have up on here is the other running back. I can't think of his name off the very tip of my head right now. But he would probably be about number 4 for me. And then Gainwell 2, Woody Marks a clear-cut number 1. For the wide receivers this week, Alec Armaner, for some reason, people refuse to add him to their rosters. But if he's available out there, he should probably be owned. Wandale, obviously, his stock just went up. In full PPR, I would probably want Wandale over Alec Armaner. At least higher floor kind of play. Troy Franklin, I still agree. He's definitely roster-worthy. Jalen Coker, slot receiver for Carolina. Usually can be a pretty fruitful spot. We saw good things from Jalen Coker last year. So definitely somebody in, if you got the right kind of spot, the right kind of roster that you could grab and hold on to. Romeo Dobbs is probably still the same guy that he's always been. Always a guy that you can play off of the waivers and hope for the best. And sometimes it's going to be really good. So, nothing wrong with him. Malik Washington, because of Tyreek Hill's injury, I do agree with him being. I think I would probably take the chance on him over Coker because you'll find out sooner about what that is. Luther Burden, Marquise Brown's fine, kind of in that Romeo Dobbs category, just somebody that you can, oftentimes kind of find out there to use for you. Brandon Ayuk, I don't get why, no thanks. And Marvin Mims in the same category. I don't know. Oh, Darius Slayton also definitely in that Troy Franklin tier. And I would put Marvin Mims in a tier below all the rest of the guys outside of like Luther Burden, kind of a deep stash. Different types of stashes there. Darren Waller is their number one tight end. Dalton Schultz, Theo Johnson. I think it's a bigger... So I think Brenton Strange is the safest one. Darren Waller gives you the most upside, and Mason Taylor falls somewhere in between, and Theo Johnson's not too far behind Mason Taylor. I would put Dalton Schultz. I would agree with Andrew Erickson here. Dalton Schultz behind all of those guys. I would probably even grab Elijah Arroyo over Dalton Schultz, or if I needed somebody to actually play, A.J. Barner, you could always take a shot on, maybe dependent upon the matchup. Probably kind of want to see more of that. He's more of a blocking tight end, but he's been a good receiver so far in the NFL. So, I really like the opportunity for Mason Taylor a lot. Once again, I think Brenton Strange is probably the safest. I'm going to kind of agree with Andrew Erickson on him being number one-ish so far, chat. Not too surprised. I figured Darren Waller, because he's coming off the big 2-touchdown game. It was only 4 targets, is at the top of that list. But Brenton Strange, Harold Fannin getting some love, and Mason Taylor right up there. And, so I'm trying to figure out if I want to... I might replace Harold Fannin with Mason Taylor in a league where I think I might have had Taylor to start that league. All right, Andrew, looking at quarterback, I have Purdy, and not sure if he's ready for Thursday against the Rams. Yeah, it kind of seems pretty questionable right now, right? I don't know if he will be or not. Take your time, just for context. I have Love as well. I'm wondering if I should drop Purdy or Franklin for Dart. Troy Franklin. Yeah, because you probably don't need... there will be weeks where Dart will be better than Purdy and or Love. And you might be like, I wish I had Dart, but then would you have even played him that week? You could drop... I would not drop Love. I would probably just rather drop Purdy for Dart. But I would rather have Purdy than Dart by a little ways. Who's Love playing this week? Oh, Love's on bye. Okay. So you could probably drop Franklin, grab Dart. Yeah, you're trying to do this for waivers, huh? I assume you want to put in a waiver. You don't want to wait and see if Dart's still available, because he's probably not going to be, right? But who knows who might get dropped for that. Who else is available on your waiver wire? I'd be curious, Andrew. Who else? Andrew Brownette. We've got an Andrew Burwell and an Andrew Brownette. Brownette. I'd be curious to know who else is on your waiver wire. Because if there's guys that, are close... If Matt Stafford's available out there or something, like, or even Sam Darnold, I might just not want to use that waiver wire on it and hope that he's available or hope that Purdy plays. What's Purdy's matchup this week? Yeah, it's not the greatest. Or you could just drop Purdy. Because you do have Love. All right, my team is Purdy, Achane, Hampton, Collins, Devon Smith, Jacoby Myers, Ertz, bench, Kittle, Burden. Okay. What do you think of this trade? Purdy and Achane for Allen and Benson. Okay, so you are looking to get rid of Achane for Benson and upgrade the quarterback. And your other running backs are Hampton, Charbonnet, Nick Chubb, Joe Mixon. I don't think that'll matter. And you have Caleb Williams. Man, I feel like, well, obviously even Caleb and Purdy are probably not going to be as good as Allen, but I don't think that the difference between Caleb and Purdy, picking the matchups, hopefully getting it correct, is bigger than the difference between comparing those two to Allen is bigger than the difference between Achane and Benson. So myself, Apple season, I would not do it. I don't love, like, I don't know that Benson's for sure, must start. He probably is. But I don't know how much more, and you don't have much behind that. Yeah, I think Chubb will retain a role. Charbonnet, who the heck knows how unpredictable or predictable that might be. Yeah, Kittle coming back for Ertz. Geno Smith. Is this a 2-quarterback league? Now that might be more appetizing Apple season if you could get Hendo too. Is that a 2-quarterback league? Because you have 3 quarterbacks. It's not. Okay. Well, you could probably drop Geno Smith for some sort of waiver pickup. Yeah, if you could get Henderson on top of that Apple season, then okay. Yeah, now we're talking, some kind of taking 2 shots to make up for Achane. Okay. Andrew, yeah, buy waivers are killer this week. There is Stafford and Young, who I'd be looking at if Dart got snagged. So I wouldn't have much of a problem with just relying on Stafford this week. And, Young could have a pretty good week against Miami. Their secondary really sucks. And given the court you have Love, you have Caleb, I would probably risk it and then just take somebody off of waiver wires myself. But sometimes I'm not aggressive enough. Sometimes that does kill me in fantasy. Sometimes I wait on things and they don't work out, or I want to see who might get dropped a certain week and then be able to get them. So sometimes I'm a little too patient, but I would probably be patient with it and just hope that Dart isn't a top 6 quarterback, because even Love could be like a top 7 easily. Hope that he's not a top 6 quarterback, 5 quarterback the rest of the way, which I don't think he'll be. I don't think he has that much rushing upside, and almost certainly, especially without Malik Neighbors, doesn't have that passing upside either. So, I think you'll be all right with it. There might be some spike weeks where you'll wonder. Rust Maniac, would you trade Chase Brown, DJ Moore, and Jaden Reed for Derrick Henry? Russ, it'd probably depend on the rest of the roster. The spreadsheet. These are all available. I do rankings videos throughout the week. I didn't even realize I kept it on that. So I do rankings videos where you can see these, and in all those videos there are links to my website, and oftentimes when I'm live there are links to the website, www.theffforge.com. They're not up right now. And I'm behind this week, so they might not be up till late tomorrow, links. Actually, you know what? They might be up there. Oops. Because I haven't changed any of the links. So if I just click here, there you go. Currently they're up there. Look at that. Yeah, so they're always up there every week. Those are my weekly rankings. And in the videos I talk about the stuff that's on there. Chase Brown, DJ Moore, Jaden Reed. It depends what my wide receiver room looks like. Are we sure Derrick Henry's that much better than Chase Brown the rest of the season? Nick Walker, what's up, Nick Walker? How you doing today? No, it is not. Apple season. I'm not sure what Noah Does Not was about. If I didn't succinctly give you enough of my answer, let me know. I can always touch back on it. Nick Walker, what's a good defense for this week? Cleveland Rams. Okay, so we can go off this. If you guys want my opinions on some of the waiver wire stuff, at the beginning of the video, I covered it fairly quickly, not ultra quickly. DSTs this week. Cleveland's available against Minnesota. Yeah, I expect Cleveland to really give it to Carson Wentz if Carson Wentz is the quarterback. And if J.J. McCarthy's the quarterback, it probably isn't a whole lot better. I think less of a chance of a turnover from J.J. McCarthy, but Carson Wentz is the quarterback. I really want a piece of that. Rams versus San Francisco. You know, obviously it's the Rams. They could do great, but who knows? Houston's available. You should probably just have Houston. They're playing Baltimore this week, but it's going to be a Cooper Rush Baltimore. I mean, Houston's just worth owning. I don't know. How are they ranking on the season for fantasy? Okay, so they're not like getting turnovers and stuff, but they're, one of the best defenses in the league. They've allowed the fewest points in real football. Jacksonville, I don't know, is Jacksonville like number one? Because they've had so many freaking turnovers? No, not even with all their turnovers. How are my boys doing? I have the Rams, and I'm just sticking with them. DST 10. All right, there we go. Considering I took them right at the end of the draft. I like Cleveland this week. I'd rather Houston season long, probably. Maybe check out their schedules, look at the next 5 weeks, compare them together, see if maybe there's a clear-cut winner between the two from that. So, Rust, now you know where to get the spreadsheet, right? And I got them for every position. Andrew, okay. I wait too. I've been sitting on Njoku too long, but I listened last week and picked up Mason Taylor. Oh, there we go. Might drop Njoku for Waller, but who knows? Yeah, I mean, it's tough because now Cleveland's going to be starting, or at least supposed to be starting, probably starting. I don't know if it's 100% official. Dylan Gabriel. And usually, tight ends get, more love from the rookies. Andrew Burwell, I thought I did. Oh my gosh. Okay. Start Waddle, Judy, or Sharp in flex half PPR. I could have. How did I skip over you? All right. Start Waddle, Judy, or Charbonnet in flex half PPR. Injuries killed me. I think. So I haven't done my flex rankings, so you would have to come back Thursday to really get an answer, or Sunday. I'd imagine I'll probably have Wandale ahead of Charbonnet. He's just so unpredictable. What's the going up against Tampa Bay? It's tempting. And the New York Giants have New Orleans, though. I would say Wandale, full PPR for sure. Wandale, safer play. Zach Charbonnet, maybe a little bit more touchdown upside. But, and maybe a little, similar floor. Higher chance of a touchdown. I might still have Charbonnet ahead of Wandale. That's really close. If it's full PPR, I'd just go with Wandale and take the chance on that one, though. But you said it was half PPR, yeah. I'm leaning Charbonnet at this very moment, but I don't know. Once I get into doing my flex rankings, that might change. Okay, so we got the defenses. Could you answer my question? Eventually, I can, Burwell. Eventually. Might drop in Njoku for Waller. Yeah, I definitely don't want to dissuade you from doing that, because also last week, for the first week, Harold Fannin had more snaps than David Njoku, by 1. Russ Maniac, wide receivers are Godwin, Wilson, DJ Moore, Rashee Rice. Godwin, Wilson. Well, you wouldn't have DJ Moore anymore, so it would just be Godwin, Wilson. Where's that question? You would just have Godwin and Wilson for now. And then I don't know how much better Derrick Henry is than Chase Brown. If you believe in Derrick Henry, Rust Maniac, I don't want to tell you not to do it because I think it's probably more likely that Derrick... If this is a full PPR, I probably wouldn't do this for sure. But as soon as it's half PPR, I think most likely odds are that Derrick Henry does better than Chase Brown rest of the season. And if you don't mind getting rid of DJ Moore and Jaden Reed, which, you might not miss... It looks like you go a little bit thin at wide receiver, but you can always find a replacement that might work over DJ Moore, Jaden Reed any given week. 40% of the time at least, you might get it right. So, seems like you'd be a little thin at wide receiver, though. I probably wouldn't do it, but if I looked at the waiver wire and I saw a few players that I wanted and everything that I felt could fill in pretty closely, and I really believed in Derrick Henry, just go for it if that's the case. Bruce Leroy, I need to drop someone for a backup quarterback since Lamar is not playing this week. My bench is Woody Marks, Pittman, Devonta Smith, Ridley, Godwin, Ollie Gordon. Is there a chance I could put Lamar? Yeah, but... I would probably wait through tomorrow. Wait through Thursday even as late as you can, if you want to play somebody on Thursday. But Bruce, you should be able to put Lamar in your IR by Sunday morning at the latest, and probably sooner. They seem to think that he's probably going to miss some time. Pretty sure of it. So I would assume that on Friday or Saturday they'll officially put him out for this week. I would not trade London and Waddle for Jamar Chase myself. I think London alone right now I'd rather have than Jamar Chase, and Waddle just got an uptick too, so. Nope, I wouldn't. Usually a vet like Njoku would get more looks from a rookie. Yep. Exactly. Nocturnal Gaming, what's up? What's up, Nocturnal? How you doing? I'm 1-3 and need a quarterback. Yeah, welcome to 1-3. Oh gosh, I wish one of my rosters was 1-3. There's one that's 0-4. It's just terrible. But I also have more fantasy points scored against me in that league. Not that that team hasn't been absolutely ravaged by injuries, but I have more fantasy points scored against me by a big margin. The closest to me is like 50, or maybe there's one that was like 30 or something fantasy points away. But I'm getting whomped every week. Got an offer for Derrick Henry to get Jalen Hurts and Judkins. Should I do it? You could sell Derrick Henry to get Judkins and Jalen Hurts? Hell yeah. Sell Derrick Henry for Jalen Hurts and Judkins. I would do it. Especially at 1-3. Obviously you need to change something up, right? Who's out? I don't know, Rust. Who's out? Let's get this back up here. I could tell you who's out so far. I was talking about Lamar Jackson. That's the person that I was talking about probably being out this week. Lamar Jackson hamstring expected to miss 2 to 3 weeks. Brock Purdy's turf toe flared up last week. We'll see. J.J. McCarthy is expected to return to practice this week, but that does not mean that he'll be expected to go. And Dylan Gabriel is expected to be starting for Cleveland. Running backs, Bucky Irving, question mark? Some sort of injury. Josh Jacobs did get injured in the game, but it was just a knee cut. We're all good there, it sounds like. Braylon Allen had an MCL injury. IR is possible for him. For tight ends, I don't have any. I don't know. Maybe there was something, but that's... did I cover wide receivers? Wide receivers, we got Malik Neighbors and Tyreek Hill, both out for the rest of the year. Darnell Mooney, Cedric Tillman both got injured. Cedric Tillman was placed on IR today. Calvin Ridley had an in-game injury. Don't really know what his status is for this game, this coming up week. It looked like he kind of played through it. And Ricky Pearsall had a new knee injury, and he might miss Thursday. And people are talking like Juwan Jennings might miss, but I don't think he picked up a new injury. I think he's just still like banged up and sore and stuff. So I'm not overly concerned about Juwan Jennings as of right now. Would you trade Travis Etienne for McBride? Depending on my running back room, maybe. I mean, I lean towards ish. Ish. Yeah, I mean, I think Travis Etienne's probably going to be pretty good this year. Like, just like continue to be. Because of Liam Cohen. Just seems to be a good... Oh, Aiden retracted that. Just seems to be a good schemer of running games. Aiden, I had Neighbors and Ladd. I just traded for Zay Flowers and DK. Should I trade Jalen Warren and Diggs for Deebo Samuel? I guess you could. I don't know what that puts your running back room into, but... Yeah, I mean, you could. I don't view, like, the difference between Warren and Deebo to be very much. But it's Diggs, and, so far I think Deebo has been a little bit significantly better, because Jalen Warren's been, like, mediocrely good. I have CMC and Walker. I mean, still depends on the bench. I don't like to just have two running backs, and as soon as a bye week comes in, I have no running back. So it would still depend, but I mean, you could definitely get away with it as long as you're comfortable with whatever your bench looks like. Rust. ZH. I have Benson, Hampton, Genty. Hold up, ZH. Benson, Hampton, Genty. All right, yeah, go right ahead for it. I would rather Deebo than Diggs. So, yeah. I'm down. And Harvey. Nice. There we go. So now you got the 4. So you're good. Because then you got extra depth there. You got 3 that you could probably start, and then you probably choose between Deebo, DK, and Zay. Or Benson, Genty, Deebo / DK will probably... you have some decisions there going on, but having a tough decision is better than no decision. All right, so ZH, Brees with Allen out rest of season or Judkins? So just a rest of season. Braylon Allen's not out rest of season. Allen's out like 2 to 4 weeks or something. It's just an MCL sprain. I'm just checking my notes on him. Yeah, MCL, IR is possible. There's no Allen out for season, but would I rather have Breece Hall or Quinshon Judkins rest of season? Full PPR, Breece Hall. Standard, Judkins. I think it's Breece Hall and half PPR by a little ways. Not a big difference. Frizzle, how's it doing? I'm doing well, man. How are you? Finally got to a dermatologist today, which took a long time to get that set up. So that was nice to finally get there. Aiden, Rust Maniac, I guess I got Nick Chubb too. I guess. I think Nick Chubb might retain some sort of role there. I mean, last week he actually still had his normal amount of opportunities. So I count opportunities, one opportunity for a run, 2 opportunities for a target, because targets are 1.92 times more valuable than rushing attempts for running backs. So that's how this is calculated. And Nick Chubb See, he had 15, 16, 17, 17. So he still had his normal allotment of opportunities last week. They just ran a lot more. So, like, nothing's guaranteed with that usage there. I mean, it sounds like it from the head coach and everything, and how well he performed. I mean, you can see, I have Woody Marks significantly ahead. I assume Woody Marks is the guy to have there. Almost certainly. But there might still be enough room for Nick Chubb to be a bye-week guy that you can play. So there is that. You cover wide receiver waiver targets. Yeah, so Frizzle, I did the wide receiver. I did all the waiver wire, my thoughts on these guys at the beginning of the video. There was one in this article, PFF article. I skimmed through here. So they've got Jackson Dart, Jake Browning, Matt Stafford, JJ McCarthy, and their quarterbacks. Running backs, of course, Woody Marks at the top of it. Chris Rodriguez right behind that. Don't necessarily disagree with him being higher up than it was on this list. Ken Gainwell was high up on mine. I think Kendrick Miller's good to stash. Blake Corum's good to have. Todd Brooks a deep stash. Keith Mitchell a super deep stash. Jaden Blue stash. Deeper stash. Darius Slayton I'm fine with. Alec Ironmaner I think I would probably rather have than Darius Slayton. Troy Franklin, I think, is still fine to have. Romeo Dobbs is Romeo Dobbs. Luther Burden is Luther Burden. Jalen Coker's a fine deep stash. Isaiah Bond, I don't think I would take the chance at. Nick Westbrook at Keener. I do think he's pretty good at the deep ball. Like, could be sneaky, some Romeo Dobbs-esque. Rest of season is possible, I think, for Nick Westbrook. So, like, he's somebody I wouldn't mind if I'm really maybe swinging for the fences or something, putting on my roster for this week and seeing what I get from him. If I don't have, like, if I'm just replacing a wide receiver that I want to get rid of. I want to get rid of Calvin Ridley. I'm pretty good at wide receiver, but who do I take? Like, just maybe see what happens next week with Nick Westbrook. He's a experienced veteran. Last year he had what, like 7 touchdowns in a row or something for 7 weeks, something crazy. So you just no. I also think Alec Pierce is somebody to look into. Alan Lazard, how did he make that list? And then Strange, Waller, likely got still a def thing that you could grab. And Aronde, I think, is a bridge too far. I don't think that'll end up working out, but I like him a lot. So, I don't know if you have any specific questions. Looks like you might. I'll get there in just a moment. Aiden, Benson, and Genty have same bye week 8. So you're going to play Hampton and Harvey then. I don't care. That means that they don't have bye weeks every other week then. As long as you got 2 running backs that can fill their spots, you'll be all right. If you lose week 8, you lose week 8, but maybe you win weeks 9, 10, 7, 6, 5, 4. Well, 4 there's no bye, so that didn't matter. My waiver claims tonight is pick up Darius Slayton, drop Ollie Gordon for Kendre Miller. Okay, kind of a sideways move, but fine. Fine. Drop Browns defense for Cardinals defense. Tennessee, right? I'm starting Keon Coleman. I think I might be again. And waiver pickup this week because of bye. And a waiver because of bye. So you're hoping it'll be Darius Slayton? Yeah, I got no problems with that. So, I have Hurts. Should I pick up Dallas Goedert or should I go for like a Mason Taylor or Waller or Strange? Oh, you should probably have Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert, when he's healthy and he's playing, is pretty darn good. He's up there so far in the season. I mean, he's a little boomer bust, but what kind of tight end is not? Yeah, the tight end 1. I have him as the tight end 1. Darren Waller technically would be up there, but he only has 1 week sample size. Now, this is based on a point system, 0 through 36, which takes consistency into account. So I don't know if he's actually most fantasy points scored. Very well might not be. But in terms of value to your roster, I would say, or at least my system would say, he's the tight end 1 so far in the season. He's been very good. Doesn't get a whole lot of targets. Very touchdown reliant. Don't expect him to finish the season like that. But I wouldn't get rid of him. Dashim Tekel. Dashim Tekel? Dashim. Monty versus Cincy or Mason versus Cleveland. I think I might have Montgomery. Let me see. These are not finished. I'm going to go through these again tomorrow before I do my video and everything. And then they still might change later on in the week. But currently, I have David Montgomery. Jordan Mason was the question. Yeah. Currently, I have David Montgomery a tier ahead of Jordan Mason, actually. But, 4 spots ahead of him there. Yeah. Against Cincinnati, give me all the David Montgomery. I'll feel pretty good about playing him this week. And then Jordan Mason, yeah, like you said, Cleveland, I don't know about that. How's Dallas Goedert, the tight end 1 so far? His stats haven't been great, so I don't know. Let me know. Because it's consistency based. But he's been averaging at 29. Hold on. Oops. Let me grab. I don't know what you mean his stats haven't been good. He's definitely been very good. I'm going to look at a couple different things for you to answer your question. I don't want to just rattle shit off the top of my head, though. Okay, so average fantasy points per game, he is number 1 if you don't count Darren Waller's 1 game. So it matches, average fantasy points per game matches. He has 11.8 average fantasy points per game, which is higher than every other tight end outside of Darren Waller and his 1 game sample size. So I don't really think I need to go look up what else I was going to look up for you, but what I was going to tell you is that, so he's averaging somewhere close to being the tight end 6 every week, which is really good. Really good. So like last year, the best tight end averaged just about that. George Kittle averaged being the tight end 9, but was at 28.7 points per week based on my fantasy football, based on my scoring system of 0 to 36. And right now, George Kittle's at 29. I think it was, right? George Kittle. I mean, Dallas Goedert, 29. Yeah, so last year, George Kittle finished at 28.7 here. And Dallas Goedert is currently at 29. Quincy, I'm not your big brother. How many times do we have to go over this? Oh, man, I just hate how it hurts your feelings every time you hear that. Yeah, Aiden, I mean, one thing I always want to remind people is that tight ends suck, okay? So anytime you think that your tight end sucks, first of all, they're doing what they do. That's what tight ends do. They suck. Also, remember that so does every other tight end. And they very well might suck worse than yours. Dallas Goedert, outside of Darren Waller, has been the best tight end on the season on an average fantasy points per game basis. Actual fantasy points, he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th. I'm confused on one thing, though. Oh, yeah, because Dallas Goedert missed a game. I was like, did Hunter Henry miss a game? No, Dallas Goedert did. Okay, let me catch up here. Frizzle, I got Juwan. There's no need to drop to pick up Fannin, Strange, or Waller, right? So I'll just say that 2 tight ends, Taysom Hill and what's his face? A receiving tight end. Hold up, I have it written down, I think, from my video. Taysom Hill and Foster Moreau were, the 21-day practice window opened up for them. Could end up impacting Juwan Johnson. I would personally take the risk that they don't impact Juwan Johnson and what he's done so far in the season, because with the amount of targets that he's getting, if he can sustain that throughout the entire year, that should leave him as a top 4 or 5 tight end at the end of the season if it can remain. So I don't want to get rid of that possibility for, Fannin. I mean, Strange will have his weeks, I'm sure, but doesn't seem to have that upside. Waller might have that upside at his age and everything, and the injury risk on it. Probably not, But I would probably stick with Juwan. I do have Luther and Golden, and I could look to drop one. Well, if you wanted to do 2 tight ends, I wouldn't mind Waller over Luther or Strange over Luther. But with Juwan Johnson, I would personally take the chance on Darren Waller, because he's the one who has the big upside potential. We saw what a tight end did in Miami last year in Jonnu Smith, and it was golden. I would not look to drop Golden. Like I said before the season started, if you're drafting Golden, don't plan on playing him till week 7. Not that I haven't ranked him high enough to be played, but I'm just saying, rookies, for the most part, second half of the rookie season is, up until then, they're usually not very viable. Even Tedrow McMillan, as nice as, he's gotten all those targets and everything because there's literally nobody else there, even he hasn't done a whole lot with them yet. He probably will, as the season goes along, do more. Jesse B, I'm 0-4, was offered Ted McMillan and Woody Marks. Should I take my wide receiver? I'm probably hurting. And I don't know what you were offered Woody Marks and Ted McMillan for. For Justin Jefferson. Your wide receivers are hurting you the most? Then you... Okay, so here's the thing about Justin Jefferson. I think his stock is higher with Carson Wentz at quarterback than J.J. McCarthy. I think. I don't know if that'll stay true rest of the season, but at least for the short term, that's kind of my fear. So I don't hate it, but that's only if you're going to be starting both Tet and Woody Marks. If it's not a clear start situation for Woody Marks, if your running back room is really good, I would still rather have Justin Jefferson than Ted McMillan, regardless of my concerns. I'll have to live with the fact that I chose Justin Jefferson over Ted McMillan for the rest of my life. I can live with that. I don't know that I can live with choosing Ted McMillan over Justin Jefferson for the rest of my life if that's what costs me a championship. So, generally speaking, only if you need both Woody Marks and Ted McMillan there. Jesse. I hope that was a good enough answer for you. N. Yay. What's up, N? Flex. Io Manor, Harvey, Marks if I get him, or Terry if he does play. I'm probably going to be afraid to play Terry against Chargers. I could probably get away with not doing that. If that's Io Manor? Marks if you get him? I don't have my flex rankings done yet, so this is a little bit early. I mean, I assume I'll end up having Terry McLaurin higher than I would have Io Manor. And I assume I would have Tennessee versus Arizona. Oh boy, I don't know who I'm going to have higher between RJ Harvey, Io Manor. I'm curious. Where are the experts so far? Now, the expert rankings do move, just like mine will throughout the week, from here. But they've currently got Io Manor ranked 69th overall. And, yeah, they're going to have RJ Harvey lower. Yeah, I think it's Io Manor. It just... Yeah. And I assume that that's how I would have it. So, for me, it goes Marks, very clearly for me. Then Terry, Io Manor, Harvey. And, yeah, I mean, it's probably not going to be the best week for Harvey, one way or another. Frizzle, I'm not really too sure who to keep drop from waivers. My bench is Luther Golden, Blake Corum, Ollie Gordon, Keon, Chase Brown. So I don't think you can really just outright drop Chase Brown. He's still a starting running back for an NFL team. Keon Coleman, I probably don't want to drop over, Ollie Gordon. I think I would rather have Blake Corum than Ollie Gordon, personally. And I'm fine with dropping Luther. So Luther or Ollie Gordon for me. I'm hurting wide receivers with CD out, so you probably hold with CD out. So once CD is back, so still Luther or I would personally it would be Luther for me. My wide receiver room is CD, Drake, London, Luther, Golden, Keon, Darius Slayton if waivers go through. So Darius Slayton, yeah, a nice little addition there that you could actually play, like, if you don't want to play Keon Coleman. Thinking about trading CD away, but I'm 2-2 out. You're already going to make it. Is it just 1 week right now? So there's still at least 3 weeks without CD? Or no, they didn't put CD on IR, did they? Is he just out? I don't think they did. Quincy Jones, you low-key looking like a more handsome version of Ryan Gosling. Holy cow. Thank you. Evil 8, double. Should I take this trade? I trade Terry and Kyler for Waddle and Herbert. Terry McLaurin and Kyler Murray. Okay. So Terry McLaurin, Kyler Murray for Waddle and Herbert. I think I would do that. I would take Waddle and Herbert over Terry McLaurin and Kyler Murray right now. I don't know for sure that that'll age well by the end of the season between Terry and Waddle, but I'm pretty sure Herbert will age over Kyler, and it might be close enough anyways between Terry and Waddle. So I would take Waddle and Herbert. Bye week is screwing me over. Welcome to bye weeks. Yeah. Should I give Olave for AJ Brown? Yes. Really, Nelson, PPR, rest of season rank. By the way, obviously Olave and AJ Brown are like polar opposites. So it might depend on like what your wide receiver room looks like, but generally speaking, yeah, I would trade Olave for AJ Brown, and there's a very low chance that Olave will help to win you the season, right? AJ Brown might. So, AJ Brown, I have him. He's been very annoying so far. I've had him in the past, and he's been very annoying in the past. But usually, actually, always so far in the past, he's been more good than bad. We'll see what happens this year. Really Nelson, full PPR, rest of season rank. Ridley, JCM, Pacheco. JCM, Ridley, Pacheco? Do we have to? I think I just put JCM at the front of that group, probably. And then Ridley, hope that things click. That offense, maybe, it's a rookie quarterback. Things click. And Pacheco, you're hoping that Kareem Hunt gets injured. So, that's probably my order. JCM, you could maybe even put Ridley over JCM, but I don't know. You can make an argument for any order from there, but that's what I would say. JCM, Ridley, Pacheco. Goff or Dart? Rest of the season? Probably Goff. Maybe Dart. I don't know. Maybe Dart. Like, this could be another low Goff week because they might run a lot. Man. And Dart's got some good late season, like playoffs and everything, look pretty good for New York. I'm going to say Dart because of the late season playoff positive there. Yasir Ahmed. Neighbors injury nuked my season. Yeah, CeeDee Lamb injury, Neighbors injury, Burrow injury, and what's the other one? Hold up, I got it right here. Oh, George Kittle. Yeah, week 1, George Kittle. That was 2 teams. Joe Burrow impacted Higgins and Chase Brown, so 2 teams there. Then CeeDee Lamb, then Malik Neighbors, amongst many other. Braylon Allen, yeah, every week. Like 2 or 3 injuries. I hear ya. My wide receiver 1 is now T. Higgins. Do I trade Derrick Henry for Alvin Kamara and Pittman? Sure. Or Scadaboo and Marvin Harrison? I think I would go Scadaboo and Harrison. That feels wrong. Kamara, Pittman, Scadaboo, Harrison. I think it's got to be Kamara, Pittman, but you can't go wrong. If you're feeling Scadaboo, Marvin, I'm down for that too. You think Pacheco is a dud? Droppable? I mean, he's droppable. I wouldn't just go out and drop him for nothing. But yeah, I mean, he's droppable. Once again, I mean, he's just, I'd rather keep him on a roster. If Kareem Hunt gets injured or something, then he'll be fine. Still won't be great, but he'll be usable. Right now, he's not really usable. So, just depends. Aiden, Golden or Diggs rest of the season? I think I would still rather Golden, but if I need help now, Diggs. Quincy Jones. I legit am fantasy football number 1 fan in this world, and he will just never understand. Quincy, I think you professed your love for me like last year or something, so maybe I will understand. Standard ESPN League, 8-man PPR. My running back room is stacked with Bucky, Hampton, Benson, Judkins, ETN, Mason. Look at that. RJ Harvey plus Woody Marks on waivers. I want league-winning upside like Kyron 2.0. Which to get? I mean, Woody's shown more. And at this point, man, I think Woody is the answer right now. I don't know. Offensive line, RJ Harvey. Offense, probably better team, probably goes to RJ Harvey. Better defense, I guess both those defenses keep their teams in it. Offensive line, I think I meant to say instead of offense. But, more clear shot to a bigger workload, Woody Marks at this point. So, I got to go with Woody Marks on that one. Rendon Dye, would you drop Io Manor or Troy Franklin for Stephon Diggs? Yes. And if I need a running back, is 70% of my fab okay for Woody Marks? I think you're right in there. If you need a running back, we had one of these come through last week. We have another this week. But it's very rare that you see too many of these options come, available throughout the week, throughout the year, season. So, spend it. Yeah, there's no guarantees. You could end up wasting it. That's always possible, but you need to take a shot. Woody Marks is probably going to be the best shot at running back for the rest of the season. There will be some options that'll be really good for multiple weeks and stuff, but it looks like Woody really has a chance here to be the RB1 there, and he's got some juice. So, he's worth taking a shot. Between Io Manor and Troy Franklin, I'd probably drop Troy Franklin instead of Io Manor. I think I would stick to the upside of Io Manor more than the upside of Franklin, I think. Also, Pittman is on waivers. Pittman's like top 20 guy this week. How is he on waivers? And my wide receiver's kind of weak with Jamar Chase, Drake London, Tet, Evans, Olave. Well, it's weak because of Jamar Chase. Otherwise, you did a pretty good job of drafting. Well, it's weak because Jamar Chase, because Evans is out right now. But, Drake London, Tet, Olave have been good. I know London's been disappointing before this week to an extent, but seems to be turning things around there. Would you drop any for Pittman? You can't put Evans on IR? I guess I would drop Olave for Pittman. I mean, I would trade Jamar Chase and somebody away for a different wide receiver and then pick up Pittman. And I would make sure to force that to go through tonight as quickly as possible. So that way I could keep Olave. But yeah, if I've got to trade one, if I've got to drop one of them, it's probably Olave. He has the least league winning upside out of the bunch. Although, he and Jamar Chase might be about as good as each other the rest of the season. Also, Caleb on my bench, but I have Mahomes. Do I drop Caleb for Fields? No. You got Mahomes. You got Caleb on the bench. No, I would rather have Caleb than Fields by a little bit. Kind of need to win this week, and Fields is projected 22 points. Oh. You're not going to play Mahomes this week? See him by? Let's see. I mean, I've got Patrick Mahomes as the QB2 on the week against Jacksonville. So I'm not changing my backup quarterback for any reason, personally. Yeah, I would still rather have Caleb than Fields. I think he'll just be a little bit more consistent. I think it's a better team, frankly. Even if they're not a great team, it's better than what the Jets have. Especially offensively, which is kind of, important. It's stupid, but I'm holding on to Luther expecting DJ Moore to get traded away. Well, that might not be so stupid. I mean, that could be a thing. But I also like Isaiah Bond with Tillman out and new Browns quarterback. I don't think Dylan Gabriel is going to hit Isaiah Bond too much. Dylan Gabriel, Mr. Throw the ball short for the most part. Now, he'll take a shot or two. He plays a little bit like Russell Wilson, vintage Russell Wilson, in some ways. So he'll wind up, and he does have to wind up and take a shot. So maybe he hits Isaiah Bond on some of those throughout the year. Generally speaking, he's kind of more game manager. They're going to be really, really run heavy. And Tillman's going to be back soon. I'm not a personal, I don't think Isaiah Bond's a very good waiver wire pick myself. Yeah. Fantasy Pros apparently agrees. They don't have them in their top 11 there in Fantasy Pros between these three. But, hey, you never know. We might be wrong. You might be right. Really, Nelson, you're welcome. Didn't I just give you the quick yes, I would do that? Oh, no, I did try to rank him for you. Okay, Quincy Jones, Pickens, or Johnston this week and rest of the season. So far, I think I have Pickens maybe one spot ahead of Johnston. Yeah. So I've got Pickens over Johnston. I have them both as must starts, top 10. So hopefully you can just play them both. And rest of the season. I don't know. It might be Quentin Johnston. I'm going to stick with my priors on George Pickens rest of season over Johnston, but that might be wrong. Johnston looked pretty good. Tingley, hey yo, should I drop Mandrews or Juwan Johnson to go after Woody Marks? Sure. Whichever one you want. Yeah, I think Woody Marks better than them. Deserks. Start Dobbins or Pollard, pick up Bond or Slayton. Well, I think I just told you what I felt about Bond. I'll take the chance on Slayton and see what that looks like. I don't know. Between the two. Alright, so obviously Bond just gives you more upside. Slayton more likely to pan out and be okay, but I don't think he'll be very good. He'll be droppable, a bye week replacement kind of guy. So I guess if you want to take the chance on just so you're saying there's a chance. There's 1 in a million shot at this. You could take Bond and see what happens. So it kind of depends on where you're at in your wide receiver room probably and what you're looking for. Dobbins or Pollard? I think that's Dobbins. No, I think that's Pollard this week, actually. Dobbins was pretty low, I believe. Tony Pollard, J.K. Dobbins. Yep. Yeah, Dobbins against Philly. Game script opposite of last week's game script and everything. It's a bust type of atmosphere for J.K. Dobbins. I don't like it. He's going to need to get into the end zone. Probably not going to be super efficient. Probably not going to have as many opportunities as he has most weeks. And maybe R.J. Harvey's going to eat into it a little bit more. They seem to starting to make, the backfield change. And by that, I don't mean R.J. Harvey going to be the de facto number one, back. Dobbins is going to have a role. He always will have a role as long as he's healthy, I think, this year. But they are starting to evolve a little bit, and then bad matchup and everything seems like a bust for me. So I'll take Pollard there against Arizona. It's also, not a fantastic... the implied point total is not good, but I expect Pollard, Arizona just doesn't usually, blow out teams. I feel like they play to the level of their opponents a lot. I'm not expecting too much. All right? Good to see your tight end rankings. God, they're not done yet. These are not official. These are not ready for your eyes, people. There you go. They're not done yet. Who would you drop, though? I did answer that, Rendon. I don't know if you asked me that before I got to it, but I said I would probably rather keep Iomanner and drop Troy Franklin. Brendo Calrissian. What up, Brendo Calrissian? What a name. And then is that the Goodfellas DVD cover I see there? You got it all covered here. Should I trade Quentin Johnston and Etienne for Bijan? Sure. You want to condense and get the number one player? You got a good roster. You don't need Etienne and, yeah, sure. It's not, you might be spending a little bit for it, but you got to spend in order to get a guy like Bijan. I know Bijan is fast, but QT could keep his production this whole season. Yeah, I do think that he might. He might be the wide receiver one there. And then Keenan Allen might be the most trusted wide receiver, and that might just leave our boy kind of in the middle of everything there. So, Brendo, I feel like you know what you're doing here. I would probably say yes to that trade if it was offered to me. I don't know that I would go out and make it unless I just had a stud of a roster and I'm like, I really gotta condense. I have too many good players. So if you're in a situation, but if it was sent to me, even if I had not too many good players, I don't think I would pass up on the chance for Bijan Robinson, but it would depend on my roster. If by adding Bijan that means I'm having to play, oh gosh, or by getting rid of QJ, I should say, maybe, that means that I'm going to have to play now, instead of Quentin Johnston, Isaiah Bond. Well, that's a pretty big drop-off. I don't know that I want to take that drop-off. Or Michael Wilson, let's say that. So, it depends a little bit on the roster. But Ezekiel Ruiz, what's up? Sorry to take my rankings off there. Are they good on the screen? Sorry, I know it's cutting off. I sized the screen for this. So I know it's now I know it's kind of cutting off the left side there a little bit. Too bad. All right, guys. Okay, Ezekiel Ruiz, should I drop Andrews or Kincaid for Waller? Andrews and Waller really feel very similar to me. Man, I mean, you could, I don't know that I would. It's one of those things where, I would see Andrews and Kincaid, and I wouldn't think about it. But I was talking about this with somebody else before. I'm pretty conservative. I kind of stick with the guys that I draft. I'm not ultra... I don't make all the moves on waiver wires, and sometimes that kills me. Sometimes that prevents me from just wasting a waiver wire on guys. I'm a little bit conservative when it comes out to just going out and giving people. What I will say is with 26 votes so far, the community thinks Darren Waller is the tight end to get out of that group. 4 targets, 2 touchdowns is not sustainable. We know it's not going to be that rest of the season, but we did see what Jonnu Smith did last year, and Tyreek Hill just went down. So there is the potential for something pretty cool from Waller. So I would say I would rather keep Kincaid than Andrews. So it would be Andrews if I'm going to drop one for Waller. Kanan, yeah, Judkins is pretty must start. You know, don't quite have him going up against Minnesota. It's a tough matchup. It's not a great offense and everything, so there's a little bit of limitation to the upside. But as far as a high end RB back, okay, a low end RB1, high end RB2, somewhere floating in between that space, probably rest of the season. That's pretty much must start territory, right? So, yep. Other receivers I have Chase, Keenan, Waddle, Harrison Jr. That seems, pretty strong there. Like you could get away with it. Sucks Jamar Chase happened. Yeah, I mean, you could get away with it. It raises your ceiling by a little ways. Yeah, once again, Brendo, I'm just going to say, I don't think it's a must, accept. It is. You're probably paying a little much for it. But, QJ, Travis Etienne, too. Oh, what if this is a mirage? It's very possible. We know Bijan Robinson ain't no mirage. So, there is that fast asset to it, too. All right, Quincy. Filling up the feed. All right, I got a pretty hard out here, so we're gonna get going. Start one: Bills versus New England, Browns versus Minnesota, Cardinals versus Tennessee, Eagles versus Denver. I like the Browns this week for a bunch of sacks and a couple picks and anything else in between. Are you worried about Hampton rest of the season with Joe Alt injury? Well, Joe Alt will be back, so it's not a rest of season thing. Now I've got it. I have him 7th on the week. Yeah, I mean, it hurts. I'm not worried. It hurts a little bit. Water. I drink water usually, or tea. Unless you see there's like a glass that if you hear this in the background or something, then it's just an energy drink powder thing. But usually water or tea. I always hear, who do I start? And who do you like rest of the season? And did I do this trade? And never. How was your day, Mr. Fantasy Forge? Thank you, Quincy. My day was good. No, people do say hi, how you doing, and all that. So they the people who are here more than just every now and then, even others like Brendo. I think this is the first time Brendo Calrissian's been around. Appreciate it, my man. Saying thanks. Most people are pretty nice. My day was, pretty good. I didn't get as much done today as I want because I had to head down to Naples, which is a bit of a drive. And there's a bunch of stoplights in between here and there, so it's a really boring drive to do a dermatologist appointment. Kanan, is it just me, or does it feel like Achan is kind of underperforming? Like he's solid, but he should do better. So technically, kind of overperforming. If you look at the difference in the color up here, this is the opportunities, but that's kind of because of this. No, he's just performing where he should. I mean, he is tied with Jahmyr Gibbs as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as a running back 6, tied with Jahmyr Gibbs, Javonte Williams, and Travis Etienne, actually. All of them as the RB6s so far on the season. And you'll see, all their opportunities pretty much right in the same area here. It's just Christian McCaffrey just setting this whole graph off. Freaking jerk. But, no, I mean, you look at some guys who've had even more opportunities and similar opportunities doing, a little about the same, actually, between Bucky, Omarion, Cam Scadaboo, and these are all, Omarion and Cam Scadaboo's numbers here are altered. They don't have every game of theirs. I think week 2 I took out for Omarion Hampton because Najee Harris and him split that week, and now Najee's gone all season. And Cam Scadaboo, I took out the Tracy games for this number. I still have it on my other sheet, but I took it out just to get this number. No, I mean, somebody who might be underperforming, you look at Saquon here, that's when you start to probably get into that underperforming because he's got as many opportunities or more than all these guys, but he's the lowest. So Saquon's really probably the only one that I would say actually underperforming here, and ETN overperforming. Definite overperforming there from ETN. All right, Tingley. Hopefully my last question. Let's see. Yeah, man, I just found your stream. Yeah, welcome in, Brendo. Thank you very much for coming in. Like, comment, all that good stuff. I hope to see you around. I do rankings videos as well. And if you do follow, if you end up subscribing, I hope you like the content. And I'm here every Thursday and Sunday. Sunday morning, 3 hours prior to kickoff. Thursday, hour and a half prior to kickoff for start-sit questions as well. Is it just me or does it feel... Okay, we answered the HN thing. Kanan, I would say it is just you. Now, I mean, I think it's just that we haven't gotten like the 28-point game or something like that, where it's like, come on, give me that big week-winning game. I need it. I really do. Matteo Gilzaviri. Drop Kirk or Loveland for Woody. Loveland? Like, I'm thinking of the right Loveland, right? Is that the tight end? Loveland for Woody? Yes. I have Fannin. It's Fannin starting 12-man team. Yeah, you don't... nothing wrong with holding on to Loveland, but yeah, you could drop either one, but I would drop Loveland for Woody, probably. Or is that Christian Kirk? If you could drop Christian Kirk, maybe because you're having Fannin, maybe I would want to hold on to Loveland and see if something doesn't happen coming out of their bye week next week. Run and die. Would you trade DeMar Chase and Chuba for JSN? Okay. Yes. I think I would. I think I would take JSN and AK over DeMar Chase and Chuba. Actually, you know what? I know I would. Yes, I would make that trade, Rendon. Kanan. I guess in PPR. Yes, I have him in non-PPR. I guess that makes sense. Yeah, this is half PPR. Half PPR. Yeah, non-PPR, did he get a touchdown this last week? I mean, he's gotten... His touchdowns have been there, haven't they? But yes, it definitely helps. Like this last week, he didn't do much for... He had one catch. So, actually, he would have been in full PPR kind of disappointing this week. And in standard, I think he got a touchdown, right? So, standard, he should have been pretty solid this week. And half PPR, he was like 16 points, 15, 16 points. It's good. It's good. He's been good. Tingley, I think HAM been doing well. Ollie Vulture hasn't been fun. Yeah, definitely Vulture won last week. Reckon he'll get even more usage after Tyreek injury too. Yeah, I was a little surprised after the injury he didn't get utilized more. But yeah, I would imagine more reception stuff is coming too with Tyreek Hill injury. But the Darren Waller addition, it could equal out between the two, or it could just eliminate some of that. Because that is a little bit what happened. Like, he was still fantastic last year, but there was a little bit of, like, the cap got eaten off when Jonnu became a thing. Eric Serrano, Waiver Wasteland, running back injuries, and bye in Week 12, PPR. Available. Rashad White. I go Rashad White, and then if there's no injury there, if what's his name is fine, I probably Chris Rodriguez would be might end up getting ranked higher than Rashad White in that case. Bucky Irving. If Bucky Irving's injured. And then there's actually too, if he's injured, if Rashad White were to be taken by somebody, the other running back there, Eric, what's his name? I don't know. I can't think of his name, but the other running back there actually might get some solid work. I would still rather Rashad White than him, but not by huge ways. Check out some of the content. Thank you, Brendan. I appreciate that. Lucius Veronis, you're going to be the last question today. Strategy question. I play the Bucky Irving owner in my league. White is on waivers. I have the number 1 pick, though, in a 12-team competitive league. Current 2-2. Worth burning the pick to grab him? Who are they playing? It's not like the best matchup. It would depend a little bit what else is left on the waivers. You're 2-2. You're welcome, Eric. I appreciate you. See, here's my only thing: is what if that forces them to then take the other running back there? Okay, I'm done. Being able to think of his name. Sean Tucker. See, I knew it was like a basic name there. Freaking A. Sean Tucker. And then Sean Tucker ends up getting all the Bucky work and ends up having a massive game. So my only thing is that you might, by doing that, you could end up making him pick up the right guy. And then it backfires on you in so many ways that I don't think I would do it. I do like the strategy of blocking guys, but I think I would wait until if Rachaad White makes it through the waivers, then grab him. Otherwise, maybe just see who he has to drop in order to add Rachaad White. Maybe that'll be somebody that's enticing to you longer term. If you're not planning on playing Rachaad, if there's no chance that Rachaad White would play for you this week, then I think I'd rather hold on to that number one or get Woody if Woody's available. Because he'd probably be worth it almost regardless of what your running back room looks like, unless it's one of those stacked ones. All right, so that was it. So for tight ends, everybody's loving Darren Waller. Harold Fannin, Mason Taylor are tied at about a quarter of the vote in terms of who's the tight end to own between Darren Waller, Mason Taylor, Harold Fannin, and Brenton Strange at the back of the group, who oddly I think is like the safest of the bunch. But understandable. All right, guys, ladies, gentlemen. Do you think Bucky will be out? I have no clue. I really don't know how to read the situation. A lot of times I can read between the tea leaves. I don't know. I say it's 50-50 because I just don't. He will be or he won't be. I truly don't know. Good question, Ezekiel. Ezekiel, you're the man. So if you have a question, quick, just let me know you have a question that's coming out. Otherwise, I'm going to end the stream. Andre Silva, would you trade T. Higgins or Keenan Allen for Benson? T. Higgins for Benson, sure. My running backs are Chase Brown. Ugh. Swift, I only go because I have Chase Brown too. Swift, Warren, Marks, Harvey, and Tootin. Hey, nice job of grabbing some dudes there. Wide receivers, Ibuka, Lamb, Tet, T, Keenan. So you probably, you can never have too good of a running back room. Lamb will come back. You've got Tet. You got Keenan. Hopefully Travis Hunter becomes something. I would feel fine getting rid of T. Higgins, probably. You'll be a little... you won't even be thin at wide receiver unless it's 3 wide receiver league. So, most likely, I would much rather do T. Higgins than Keenan Allen, though, for Benson at this point. All right, I'll assume, Ezekiel, you did not have a question then. I'm going to end the stream, guys. I got to go. I fell behind on work today, so I want to catch up on that instead of being here all night. But I appreciate you guys so very, very much. Tinkley, hey, thank you for just sticking around and hanging out. And if you want to catch my opinions on the waiver rankings, go to the beginning portion of the video and just watch the first, hopefully 10 minutes, but probably like 15 because I'm not fast with these things. Metro, I love you. Have a good night. Thank you very much for stopping through, Metro. Do you have a question? Tell me you have a question. Tell me you have a question because I literally have the end stream button pressed. I could, if my thumb goes weak. Oh, God, would you trade McMillan and Ibuka for Derrick Henry? No. Wait, McMillan and Ibuka? No. No, I would not trade them for Derrick Henry. Metro, going once. Going twice. I'm about to hit end stream, but I know there's a little bit of a delay. Hit enter even if you're in mid-sentence. I have questions. Oh, freaking A. All right, Metro, what's up? Would you trade Bo Nix for Chris Godwin? I have May. Would I trade Bo Nix for Chris? Yeah, sure. Yeah. I'm comfortable playing May every week, so yeah, why not? I want Moody Marks. Do I drop Pacheco? Gosh. Yeah, I still think JCM has a chance to win that role. Whereas Pacheco's already lost the role. He needs an injury for sure. JCM doesn't necessarily need an injury for sure. It seems like probably at this point, another injury. What's up, Jumbo? How you doing? I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. John, what would you do? Do you drop JCM or Pacheco? I think I dropped Pacheco, but it's darn close. John, do you have any questions? Because I was about to end the stream here. I got sent a trade. I get Sutton and Henderson. I give Tet and KW3. I don't know that I like that. I kind of want Henderson over KW3, but KW3 is better than Henderson right now. And yeah, Sutton's better than Tet, but Tet's maybe better by the end of the season. Sutton's kind of hanging on by a string, which is kind of what I expect from him. You get Sutton and Henderson. Give Tet and KW3. You could do it, Metro. I don't know. You know, how do you feel about it? Kind of like it's a good trade. That's why it's so tough. I don't know. If it could so backfire on you. In so many ways. But it also could work out really well. I don't know. Made a trade. I traded Pollard for Jake Ferguson straight up. Okay. I think Pacheco. Okay, so we got a vote for Pacheco and a vote for Andre Silva going Pacheco. Okay, and yeah, I said Pacheco too. So everybody says Pacheco, Metro. Everybody says to drop Pacheco. Tingley, they're both tied for me being committee, so I'd go JCM for upside. Yep, and so that's 4 people saying Pacheco drop. Wouldn't be surprised if Chiefs trade for running back. That's also a possibility. Sorry for not being here. Been studying a lot. John, it's okay. It's okay. Study, dude. Study. Don't not study. I appreciate you. I appreciate you all very, very much. Okay, I'm ending the stream because I can't take this anymore. I think you got your questions in, guys. I know Metro, flip a coin. Last question. Gosh damn it, Metro. Don't make me bring God down on you. He and we got a connection. All right, in case Lamar is out, do we drop... He is almost certainly going to be out. Do we drop Judy, JCM, since I dropped Pacheco, Wandale, or Trey Tucker? Trey Tucker. I'll probably drop Trey Tucker on that one. Thoughts on Darren Waller? Bugs Bunny? That's all, folks. No, I'm kidding. I think there's a chance. He could be pretty good for fantasy. Tight end 6 or something, rest of the season. You know what? I wouldn't. I think that's what Jonnu was last year with them. Was like the tight end 6 with them. I think it'd be a little bit worse. So like tight end 8, rest of the season or something like that. I think there's a definite chance for Waller, especially with Tyreek Hill going down. I would not bet on him actually being incredibly reliable. But that tight end role was pretty darn good last year in Miami, and it was huge for improving that offense, and we saw it this week. But it's only 4 targets, it's 2 touchdowns. It's not sustainable. So I don't expect what we got this week from him. I think some people are probably a little too jacked on him, but I do think that he's worth taking a chance on. Have a good one. Thanks for answering all my questions last second. May the force be with you and also with you, Metro. Thank you very much for coming to my sermon today. Let's go, everybody. Have a good one. I gotta go. I got work to do. Peace out. End in the stream.